타워 게임 시작. Tangle Tower. 오후 중반. 호수 가장자리.
You ready, Sally?
셀리네요. 준비됐어?
Grimoire, I've been standing here for 7.5 minutes.
Grimoire. 제가 Grimoire인가봐요. 7분 30초째 서있기만 했대요.
Just checking.
Do you have the map?
지도는 있어?
Yeah, but it's basically blank. Did you read the case file? What do you think?
사건 파일 읽었어? 어떻게 생각해?
I'm not sure yet. It's really not a lot to go on. Did you read it?
Yeah, I'll read it on the way to the crime scene.
이렇게. 자, 사건 파일. 살인 피해자 프레야 펠로우 19살이래요. 플로라 펠로우의 초상화를 그리는 도중에 사망했다고 합니다. 장소는 플로라의 탑. 플로라는 현장에서 초상화 모델로 포즈를 취하고 있었다. 프레야 펠로우는 등을 바닥에 대고 쓰러진 채 발견되었으며 가슴에 단 하나의 자상을 입은 상태였다. 현장에서는 어떠한 무기도 발견되지 않았지만 프레야가 끝내지 못한 그림 속 주인공은 칼을 들고 있다. 칼 끝에 빨간색은 물감이 아니다. 피인 것으로 확인되었다. Tangle Tower, 종이에 그려진 작은 그림, 뒤에 메모가 적혀있다. 이곳은 현재는 Tangle Tower라고 불리지만 하단부에 저택에 연결된 2개의 탑이 있을 뿐이다. 원형의 호수에 둘러싸여 있다. 호수물은 이상한 색이다. 호수는 깎아지른 듯한 절벽에 둘러싸여 있다. 절벽은 너무나 가파르고 매끄러워 오를 수 없다. Tangle Tower에는 현재 2 가문이 거주한다. 펠로우 가문과 포인트 가문. 미스터리합니다.
So, who do you think did it?
Sally, you know full well we haven't met a single suspect yet. We haven't even been to the crime scene.
Still, I reckon I've got it all worked out.
자, 가보자. 가기 전에 한번 이런 것들
It's the little boat we used to
눌러볼게요.
cross the lake. It's the only way on or off the island.
What a comforting thought.
새.
It's a bird bath. Is that just rainwater? Looks a little weird.
The birds seem to like it.
They're even singing a little tune.
음에 맞춰 노래를 부르고 있어.
Please don't do that.
귀여운데. 뚜뚜뚜뚜뚜뚜뚜뚜.
What are they?
Wind chimes. Silent, wooden wind chimes. It's a garden, I think. It's currently far away.
We could walk closer to it.
Ready when you are.
일단은 이동을 해봅시다. 정원. 이상하게 생긴 정원이 있어요.
It's a stone carving. Wonder how it got cracked.
I think it's supposed to look like that. It's an egg.
It's a statue of some hideous, scaly, bipedal fish monster.
Playing a harp.
Playing a harp. Hang on a second.
자세히 봐봐.
This isn't just a regular statue, is it?
Something tells me we're not going to solve this just yet.
이 퍼즐은 아직 풀 수 없는 것 같아요.
Let's come back later.
언젠가
It
풀 수
must do
있겠죠?
something.
Something.
You'd hope so, wouldn't you?
하프 동상. 큰 하프를 들고 있는 넓고 풍화된 양서류 동상. 하프의 기둥 내부분에 기호가 새겨져 있다. 자, 이건 뭐야?
Spooky.
Spooky.
What do you think it's for?
I think it's to scare away detectives.
Is it working?
No.
여기 뭔가 이질적으로
It's full
빛나는
of
게
the same
있는데?
weird water that was in the lake.
Any fish in there?
Not a single one. Although there is something in there.
Something.
It's
뭔가
a
있어.
cassette tape.
카세트 테이프.
Or it used to be.
카세트 테이프를 주었어요. 카세트 테이프는 물에 젖어 손상됐다. 라벨의 잉크는 번져서 알아볼 수가 없다.
What animal is that?
Hawk. Bear. Lizard.
Right, of course. A hawk bear lizard.
다 본 것 같은데? 그쵸? 이동을 해볼까요? 다음 장소로. 아, 뭔가 이 지글지글거리는 일러스트 너무 귀엽다. O가 떨어져 있어요.
Oh.
What?
Oh. There's an O on the floor.
Oh yeah, Tangle Tower.
Tour.
여기 뭐라
Yeah,
써있어요.
there's a heart engraved in the tree. I didn't know people actually did that.
PPFF.
PPFF. 누굴까요? PPFF. 띵동.
Should we ring the doorbell?
Why would we not? It's a little melody. Is
이거
that an
뭐야?
envelope?
It's been opened, but the letter's still in. Let's read it.
Isn't that an invasion of someone's privacy?
No, definitely.
뜯어본 편지. 봉투가 뜯겨 있다. 안에는 작은 종이가 들어있다. 조합은 다른 종이에 있습니다. 조합을 외운 뒤에는 이 종이를 없애십시오. 당신의 사고에는 동의할 수 없습니다. 그것은 밑에서 찾을 수 없을 겁니다. 무슨 의미일까?
Do you think he'll start to move if we try to go inside?
No, I think he'll just silently judge us. Looks like someone tried to chop it down, but then gave up.
Can you blame them?
이렇게 뭔가 다 서빙이 되어 있는 게 좋다. 어디로 가야 되지? 여긴가? 그랜드 홀.
It's a big glass tube filled with water.
There are weeds in there. And sand.
It's an aquarium?
Could be. Except there's nothing living in it anymore.
What is that?
I think it's a family tree.
가게도래요. 우리가 알고 있기로는 펠로우 가문이랑 포인터 가문만 있는 줄 알았는데 레밍턴 가문이 같이 있네요. F는 펠로우랑 포인터 그거겠죠? 올라가 볼까요? 어디로 가야 하나? 여기로 가야 된대요. 올라갑시다. 여기가 바로 사건 현장이네요.
Let's take a look at that painting first.
그림부터 확인하자고.
There it is. The unfinished portrait of Flora Fellow.
So, what? Freya was killed halfway through painting it?
Looks that way.
그런 것 같아. 진짜 잘 그렸다. 초상화. 프레야는 그림을 끝내지 못했다. 작업 중 사망했기 때문이다. 플로라는 칼을 들고 있는 것처럼 보인다. 끝에 있는 빨간 물질은 피인 것으로 확인되었다. 어떻게 여기에 피가 묻을 수 있죠? 그림인데.
I wonder if all of Freya's paintings are this creepy. Maybe it's just because she never got to finish it.
There's something wrong with the crime scene. And something really weird about the murder weapon.
We didn't find a murder weapon.
추리하는 시간인 것 같아요. 무엇을 완전히 덮은 것. 무엇이 살인에 사용됐다. 숨겨진 것. 땡땡이 칼을 들고 있으며 그 끝에 묻은 건 이거 같은데? 플로라 펠로우의 초상화가 칼을 들고 있으며 그 끝에 묻은 건 피다. 왜냐하면 그것이 프레야를 찔렀기 때문이다.
Flora's portrait is holding a knife tipped with blood because it stabbed Freya.
What?
Weird, huh?
You think Freya was stabbed by a painting? Not by the woman from the painting, but by the painting itself.
Mm-hmm. Freya was standing right up by the canvas when she was killed. There's blood on the knife. It's the murder weapon.
Right, but it's not actually a knife. It can't stab.
See any other knives around here? Case closed.
The case is not closed. And even if you were right, where does that leave us? A painting can't be a murder suspect.
그쵸. 어떻게 그림에 있는 사람이 뭔가 그림이 어떻게 사람을 죽일 수 있어. 끝내지 못한 그림.
The outline of Freya Fellow. Looks like she fell onto her back. There's a single patch of blood right in the middle. No real signs of a struggle.
That's weird.
What?
Her feet were right up by the canvas.
So?
So she was probably standing really close to the canvas when she fell.
그치. 캔버스에 아주 가까웠다는 건데.
Let's check the case file again. Supposedly, Freya was working on the painting when she was killed. Looks like she was still holding her paintbrush and palette when she fell.
Didn't even get a chance to clean her brush.
붓과 팔레트예요. 팔레트에는 여러 물감이 올려져 있다. 가장 큰 부분은 중앙에 검은색이다. 물감 붓에는 빨간 물감이 묻은 채 말라있다. 물감.
Freya's painting supplies.
미용. 프레야의 물감. 빨간색, 노란색, 파란색, 검은색, 흰색 물감을 담은 작은 유리통. 유리통은 모두 한쪽으로 금이 가 있다. 왜 금이 가 있지? 유리통이? 왜 깨졌죠? 뭐지? 어떤 충격에 의해서 깨진 걸까? 추궁기.
Is that a gramophone?
I think so. Except it's got a tape deck instead of a turntable.
It's also got a big crack down the middle.
얘도 깨져 있어요? 그쵸?
What about the cassette tape?
Yeah, it sure is. Pink.
오! To Freya. 금이 간 테이프. 카스트 테이프 중앙에 금이 가 있다. 라벨이 손으로 적은 메시지가 있다. Freya에게.
Do you think it still works?
The gramophone? Yeah, we could give it a go.
시도해보자. 틀어보자. Freya. 작동할까?
It's piano music.
피아노 음악을 녹음한 것이다. 이거 한번 틀어볼까요? 아까 정원의 물속에서 얻은 테이프거든요? 진행되나?
Weird.
It's someone humming a tune.
무슨 소리야? 이게 왜
Is
있어요?
that an egg? An egg with bird feet.
It's also covered in what a completely ordinary object.
I think it's a container
퍼즐인데?
for something.
Those gems look like they come off.
원석의 위치를 바꿔봐. 뒤에 단서를 보려면 R을 회전해. 퍼즐. 첫 번째 퍼즐 풀어봅시다. 이런 거 굉장히 쉬울 것 같은데요. 봐요. 자, 여기 보라색 세모와 노란색 다이아몬드 연결하면 됩니다. 여기 보시면 이렇게 요 모양 있죠? 여기가 바로 보라색 세모고요. 여기가 노란색 다이아몬드입니다. 그죠? 이렇게 바꾸면
I got it.
I'm impressed.
굉장하긴 뭐 이 정도까지고요.
Did it unlock? What's in there?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Well, I'm not leaving without a clue. An empty egg is a clue, right?
뭐야? 열심히 풀었는데 아무것도 없어? 속이 빈 알. 잠금을 해제하면 알을 열 수 있다. 현재는 비어있다. 알의 안감은 부드러운 벨벳 같은 소재로 되어 있다. 알은 황동으로 된 스탠드 위에 올려져 있다. 밑에는 뾰족한 발톱이 난 이상한 발 3개가 있다. 확실히 특이하게 생긴 이분이 바로 플로라
Flora Fellow?
Fellow.
Hey, sorry to barge in. I'm sure you're still in some distress.
We need to ask you a few questions, I'm afraid.
Did you witness the murder, Flora?
살인사건 목격했나요? 왜 아무
Nothing.
말씀 없으시지?
What do we do?
Not sure. She's entitled to her silence, I suppose.
For now. Is there anything you'd like to tell us, Flora? I don't really know anything about you at all.
I think that's the way she likes it.
아무
We'll just
말씀
have
안
to ask other
해주시네.
people about her.
Yeah, okay.
지금 아무 말씀도 안 해주시네요. 아무 말씀도 안 해주시니까 아무래도 다음에 뭔가 말씀을 걸어봐야 될 것 같아요.
We're at the top of the tower, right?
I think so. Why?
Doesn't matter. It's nothing.
어?
Half the room is a big open window.
I don't know if you can call it an open window. It's more like the sudden absence of wall.
갑작스러운 벽에 부재.
That's the only door in and out of the room.
이 방에 출입할 수 있는 유일한 문이래요. 그러면 진짜 너무 유력한 용의자
It's
아닙니까?
also on the floor.
Sure is. Guessing it's not supposed to be down there.
어떻게 죽였으며 누가 범인일까? 가까운 방부터 한번 가봅시다. 똑똑 계세요? 오, 누구지?
It's an illustrated book about birds.
새를 그린 책?
It's been left open. Looks like somebody was halfway through reading it.
Or it was left open for us to find.
Ever so slightly unnerving.
새 도감, 얼룩새는 놀랍도록 똑똑한 새로 조류 미스티드 중에서도 수명이 굉장히 길다. 다른 새들은 종종 얼룩새에게 공격적인 성향을 보인다. 따라서 얼룩새는 대부분의 생애를 홀로 보낸다. 이 새는 독특한 먹이 섭취 특성을 가지고 있는데 보통 탄툼 아미카의 열매만을 먹는다. 근데 이거 그림에 있던 칼이랑 비슷하게 생기지 않았어요, 이거? 이 새가 범인인가?
Curious. I would expect bacteria of that nature to thrive in these conditions.
Excuse me.
Taking all the environmental factors into account, there must be something I am still missing.
May I talk to you, miss?
She knows we're here. She just doesn't care.
I am a detective, and I need to talk.
Correction. You do not need to talk to me,
Oh no? How come?
because I am not a suspect. I am completely innocent of any and all crimes.
Thanks for letting me know.
Speaking of which, you have now been at Tangle Tower for over 23 minutes. Surely you have already reached a sturdy hypothesis.
A hypothesis? About the murder?
Yeah, come on, Grimoire, hurry up.
My apologies. Unfortunately, protocol dictates I must at least meet all the suspects. And that includes you. So, could you tell me your name?
Fifi Fellow, microbiologist, inventor, innovator.
안녕하세요, 피피.
You will need to be more specific. Oneself cannot be summarized in a single response without doing one a great disservice.
So true.
Well, first of all, you're a fellow. So does that make you the daughter of...
Correct. My father and mother are named Flora and Felix, but you need not question either of them. It will only waste valuable time. Neither of them are capable of murder.
Thanks for the tip.
Fifi, you said you were a micro... something or other?
Microbiologist, but it is an insignificant label. My studies cannot be categorized in any one recognized field.
What made you want to become a scientist in the first place?
I harbor an intrinsic fascination with the microscopic. I constructed my first one at age 10.
Constructed a microscope?
Correct.
And what's that thing on your head? Did you make that too?
My eyesight began to deteriorate when I turned 12. Not satisfied with the eyeglasses prescribed to me, I designed this custom lens instead. It automatically adjusts based on the surrounding light conditions.
Does it glow red when you get angry?
No, but that would be most amusing.
플로라의 딸이에요. 그쵸?
What can you tell me about the murder?
what can you tell me about... Wait, that's what I'm supposed to ask you.
Yes. However, you were too slow.
You fancy yourself a detective too, Fifi.
I just need to know what happened.
Me too. So talk.
Fine. I knew ahead of time that Freya was going to be busy with her painting all day, so I had planned to spend the afternoon with Poppy. I was in the library all morning preparing the equipment for an experiment, only to find out that Poppy had made other plans and she was in fact planning to ignore me completely.
Oh.
So what did you do instead?
I locked myself in my room and cried.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Why?
I don't know, it just sounds kind of sad.
It is not unusual.
Oh. Good.
I was in my room. The lights were off and the door was locked. Someone began banging on the door. I ignored it, until the someone began shouting at me. I opened the door. Poppy came into my room. Her makeup was leaking. She told me Freya was dead. I did not believe it. I thought she was playing a trick on me, so I punched her in the face. She insisted that we go up to Flora's tower. We left the room, and Poppy's father was waiting outside. He followed us upstairs. When I saw Freya lying on the floor, I was completely and utterly devastated. Then, I took a sample of the red paint on the unfinished painting. Poppy and I took the sample back downstairs to the library. We performed a test and found out that it was, in fact, blood.
You performed that scientific test immediately, even though you were feeling so upset?
Of course. Why would one affect the other?
오, 굉장히 친탁해요. 플로라에 대해서 좀 이야기해 주시겠어요?
Name, Flora Fellow.
와우.
Age, 24. Profession, unknown. Likes, unknown. Dislikes, unknown.
Isn't she your mother? How do you not
그니까
know
어머니
anything?
아니야?
I believe other people may have discovered methods of reaching her, but I have little capacity for interpreting non-verbal communication.
And how long has Flora been... non-verbal?
She has always been quiet, willing to speak when necessary, but not more.
So what happened to make her stop talking entirely?
She suffered a great loss, something she has been unable to move beyond. Name, Freya Fellow. Age, 19. Profession, artist. Deceased. Understand this. Most people find me difficult. They exhibit a noticeable degree of discomfort when talking to me. There it is. Freya, who had a way of being an exception to any given rule, was not at all like this. She is very important, and I will not rest until I understand what has happened to her.
Did you spend a lot of time with Freya recently?
I will say this. In the past year, Freya became, 1, increasingly independent, and 2, increasingly isolated.
Do you know why?
I do not. If you are looking for a speculative, empathetic opinion, try asking Poppy instead.
The three of you are friends.
We are of a similar age, and all highly gifted. 1 scientist, 1 artist, and 1 musician.
Sounds like quite a team.
프레이야랑 피피랑 포피랑 친구였나봐요. 근데 최근 1년간 프레이야가 조금 독립적으로 혼자만의 시간을 많이 가진 모양입니다.
Name, Fiona Fellow.
아,
Age,
피오나.
19. Profession, amateur microbiologist. Likes, the meaningful archiving of information. Dislikes, the superfluous window dressing accompanying the majority of human contact. Notes, kindly disregard the polysyllabic form of my given forename and refer to me instead as Fifi.
How come you prefer Fifi?
How come you prefer Grimoire?
How are you related to the other fellows?
Fitz is my cousin. His father, a man named Flint, was my uncle.
Was?
I do not know if Flint is alive or not. He left Tangle Tower a long time ago.
And what about Freya? How are you related to her?
We share exactly 1 grandparent.
아, 프레이야의 물감을 한번 물어볼까요?
Fifi, did you test the red paint in this pot?
Yes, I did. I discovered it too was blood, not paint.
물감이
A
아니라
whole pot
피?
full of blood?
Not a whole pot. It is only partially full.
Yeah, but still. Doesn't that freak you out?
No, In fact, it may be considered rather reassuring.
아, 여기 있는 빨간 물감이 피래요, 피.
The red paint on the brush is not paint. It is blood. Same for the palette.
So Freya added the blood to the painting herself?
Or blood got on the brush and palette some other way?
I do not know the answer.
수상하네요. 초상화.
Freya is normally highly skilled at capturing someone's likeness, but in this painting, she has accidentally made Flora look quite young.
I think she was just being kind.
Why is that kind? Anyway, I'm far more interested in what Flora is holding. I performed a test on the red paint myself. I discovered that it was in fact not paint, but blood.
What made you want to test it in the first place?
It was Poppy. She told me she thought the painting looked like a bloody knife. I told her not to be ridiculous. My mother owns no such knife. But then I noticed that the color was slightly too dark, and the substance itself was overly viscous.
You noticed that just from looking at it once?
Of course.
혹시 새 도감.
Do you know who was reading this book?
It belongs to my mother.
And she left it in the library?
No, my mother has not been in the library for some time.
혹시 이 테이프에 대해서 아는지 물어볼게요. 뭐야, 이거 고장났어.
Is she laughing?
이것도
This
물어볼까?
belongs to Poppy. In fact, she owns a number of cassette tapes.
What happened to it, though?
It has been left underwater for an extended period of time.
Right. But why?
I do not know why. Curious. That
이거는요?
belongs to my mother. I think she must be fond of eggs. There are a number of egg-shaped carvings to be found in the garden and in the Grand Hall.
Yeah, what's the deal with all the eggs?
Some people just like eggs. The gramophone belongs to Poppy, but I
포피의
believe she gave it to
추억이.
my mother, and my mother often loaned it to Freya. Or maybe it is the other way around.
When did it get cracked?
I cannot pinpoint it exactly. All I know is that it must have happened sometime in the last 2 days.
하프 동상.
The statue itself does not interest me, but I do wish to know about those symbols on the harp. Have you deciphered their meaning yet?
We're working on it.
We are?
웬만한 거 다 물어본 것 같은데?
What is your opinion of Tangle Tower?
Oh, it's impressive. Elaborate gardens, unique architecture.
Must be worth a fortune.
Why do you ask, Fifi?
I am the heir of the Fellow family and the Remington family. This makes me the sole beneficiary of Tangle Tower.
That's quite an inheritance.
They can't make you do anything, Fifi. If you don't want the house, just tell them. Or just sell it. Who cares?
You sound like her. I require facts. What do you know?
Well, we know Freya was stabbed with a knife, and then she fell.
Correction. She was stabbed with something. There was no knife found at the crime scene,
Apart from the one in the painting.
which as a mere abstract representation does not count. Nobody has ever been stabbed by the concept of a knife.
다 물어볼 거 다 물어봤어요.
Fifi's
Oh,
bedroom
oh.
should be unlocked now.
Can't wait.
지금 가자. 피피의 방. 귀여워.
A new suspect. Don't think you can get out being questioned just because you're a bear.
I'm innocent, I promise!
Save it for the judge.
귀엽게 논다, 그쵸?
It's a magnifying glass.
How come you don't have one of those?
Why? Because I'm a detective?
어제 했던 미로뎁 탐정의 피해를 탐정님은 돋보기 가지고 있는데.
Should I start smoking a pipe too?
You couldn't pull off the pipe.
Fifi's got something pinned up here.
What is all this?
뭘까요? 뭐지? 얘가 포피고 잠깐만. 이거 우리잖아. 우리가 왜 그려져 있어?
Who is that?
No idea. Is that supposed to be me? Why do I look so angry?
그니까 나 왜 이렇게 화난 거 같지?
That's just the face you make when you're thinking. does make you wonder, though. When did Fifi draw all this?
That's gotta be Flora. And that's you, Sally.
What? I do not look like that, do I?
이 사람들을 다 만나봐야 될 것 같아요, 그쵸?
Did you notice who isn't on here?
Freya?
Mm-hmm. And Fifi herself.
그러네, 프레이야랑 피피가 없네. 이거 보려고 온 건가? 일단은 이동을 해봅시다. 어디로 가볼까요? 건너편. 여긴 뭐야? 아, 여기가 프레야의 방입니다. 이건 뭐야?
That painting is really something.
Why would you want it looming over your bed like that?
Maybe Freya enjoyed the atmosphere it creates.
The atmosphere of chaos and oppression?
Hang on. There's a smaller version down by the floor.
It's a photograph.
그림을 찍은 사진, 프레야의 추상화를 찍은 작은 사진, 위에 테이프 조각이 붙어있다. 가장자리에는 검은 잉크로 줄이 그어져 있다.
Drawings taped up on the wall.
What's that one on the left?
Looks like two people standing together in a garden. One of them's holding a red rose.
어디 보자. 프레야의 그림. 정원에 한 남자와 여자가 서 있는 그림. 남자는 빨간 장미를 들고 있다. 피피를 그린 그림이다. 망토를 입은 사람의 그림.
It's a little glass box.
I think it's a vivarium.
Come again?
See the leaves and twigs in there? Might have been for keeping insects.
Even though we're halfway up a tower, someone's been tracking in mud from outside.
그러니까 뭔가 바닥에 진흙 같은. 이거 뭐야?
It's a little wooden box for paintbrush.
To the casual observer.
퍼즐,
They're
퍼즐.
not real paintbrushes. Looks like they're part of some kind of lock mechanism.
풀어볼까요? 이게 이렇게 연결되나? 이렇게. 오, 이건가 봐요. 아, 주황색이 이거다. 주황색 막대기, 그리고 핑크색 막대기. 이거는 짧고 긴 거를 표현한 것 같은데 일단은 이렇게 옮길 수도 있어요. 오, 아하. 초록색 다음 파란색이네. 주황색 다음에 분홍색. 여기는 주황색이어야 돼. 그러면 마지막에 긴 거고. 그러면 이거 아니야? 요거 같은데?
There we go.
Perfect. What was in the box?
Just a photograph. Well, most of a photograph.
사진? 찢어진 사진. 두 어린 소녀의 사진. 한 명은 빨간 머리, 다른 한 명은 초록 머리를 가졌다. 큰 부분이 없는 불완전한 사진. 찢겨진 것 같다.
Freya's bear.
Looks pretty depressed.
He's had a rough couple of days.
일단은 이동을 해봅시다. 아저씨 누구시죠?
Sir? Can you hear me? I'm Private Detective Grimoire. I have some questions for you.
Grimoire. Good mysterious name. I'd rather like it. Felix Fellow at your beck and call.
And, this is my colleague, Sally.
Yeah, that's a perfectly good name as well.
Thanks.
If you would, Mr. Fellow, we really need to ask you about the murder.
I must say I'm rather jealous of you two.
Oh, yeah? Why's that?
Out here solving mysteries, exploring new places, uncovering secret rooms, hidden treasures. That's what life is all about.
Secret rooms?
Generally speaking, you know, that sort of thing.
So, Felix, what exactly do you, do?
Is it not obvious? I'm an explorer. Explorer/treasure hunter. Yes, well, best in the world.
We're talking like curse statues, spike pits.
It's a little more sophisticated than that. But I've certainly seen my share of danger, if that's what you're asking.
And, if I may ask, when did you retire?
You listen here. I may be between ventures right now. but it's simply not in my nature to stay in one place for too long. I go wherever the winds of destiny take me.
Don't you live here with your wife and daughter?
Yes, well, the fellow family has certain loyalties, and with Flora the way she is...
Nothing wrong with raising a family, Mr. Fellow.
Don't misunderstand me. Fiona and Flora are my entire world. They are the greatest treasure of all.
Uh-huh.
Why on earth would you want to know about that?
The murder of Freya Fellow. The reason we're here?
Ah, right. Nasty business. Very unfortunate. I regret that I can't be of any help, but I wish you all the best in your investigation.
Hear that, Grimoire? We're done here. Let's go.
It's a simple question, Felix. I'm sure you're up to it.
There's not much to tell. Mostly, I was in my room by myself, working on Flora's, working on a project.
Your room is quite close to Flora's tower. You didn't hear anything unusual?
What qualifies as unusual?
What have you got?
뭐지? 수상한데, 아저씨?
It was dusk. A feeling lingered in the air. Malevolent, perhaps. Uncertain, as life itself.
Abridged version, please.
Right, fine. I heard someone heading down the stairs, just outside my room. The footsteps were calm, orderly, so I thought nothing of it. Shortly afterward, I heard a second set of footsteps, going the same way. This time I could tell just from the sound that something was wrong. So I looked out into the hallway. I got a glimpse of Poppy disappearing down the staircase to the floor below. Didn't know what to make of it, to be honest. I thought perhaps she'd had a disagreement with Fitz, as I know those two are close. So I looked into his room, just in case, but it was empty, as was the garden beyond his window. Back in the hallway, I bumped into a very concerned-looking Penelope. She was heading up Fellow Tower to find Professor Pointer, so I escorted her. We went into Flora's room. Poor Freya was laying on the floor. Fiona, Poppy, Fitz, and Pointer were there already. Flora, too, of course. Soon enough, everyone else made their excuses and left.
Including you?
Not I. I stayed. Flora needed me.
뭔가 수상해. 아저씨 말하는 게 좀 수상해요. 자, 플로라에 대해서
Dearest
알려주세요.
Flora, a remarkable woman. Yes, been married over 20 years now.
You two still get on?
Of course. What a question.
She hasn't gone quiet on you.
It's true she has an independent streak. She's had it her whole life. She's the youngest of three. Always something of a lone wolf, you know? Just the way she is.
Lone wolf is putting it lightly. She doesn't seem to want to talk to anyone.
She just likes time to herself, away from the company of other humans.
Other humans?
Well, yes, other people, you know.
이 아저씨 진짜 수상하네, 진짜. 말하는 게.
You're the one currently basking in his presence. You tell me.
Let's move on.
My daughter Fiona, our little burgeoning genius. You've met her?
We did. She's going by Fifi these days.
So I've heard. I asked her some weeks ago, what's wrong with your real name? She told me, get this, she wanted a name with an even number of syllables. She makes up the strangest things when she's under pressure.
What makes you think she made that up?
I happen to know the real reason she prefers Fifi over Fiona.
Oh, yeah?
It's what Freya called her.
프레야가 피피라고 불렀대요.
Uncommonly skilled as an artist, but Freya was so much more than her talent. She helped me get started with my own painting, you know. It taught me what she knew about wood carving, too. Tremendous patience. She was ever so good with dear Flora.
Freya and Flora were close?
Oh, yes, especially recently.
How are you related to Freya?
Somewhat distantly, as it happens. My father, Lord Fellow, was her grandfather. Technically, that makes her a fellow. Let's just say there was some discussion over whether she ought to carry the name at all. There's a family tree in the Grand Hall. You should take a look at it.
What about her inheritance?
Freya's parents died when she was around 3 years old. She came to live here shortly afterwards.
Nobody left her a thing?
I'm afraid not. She had no formal claim over anything at Tangle Tower.
뭔가 여기 족보에 구린내가 나요. 그죠?
Looks like Freya's paints.
Do you know why the pots are cracked down one side?
No, that's very odd. They're normally in excellent condition.
You seem pretty sure about that.
방금 그 눈동자, 방금 눈동자 뭐죠, 아저씨? 이거 뭐야?
A little hand-painted statue.
How can you tell it's hand-painted?
Well, the paints are right there on the desk. Also, I mean, no offense, but you can just tell.
색칠된 조각상, 검을 들고 있는 남자의 나무 조각상. 조각상은 직접 칠했지만 전문가의 손길은 아니다. 노란색, 파란색, 검은색, 흰색 물감이 근처에서 발견되었다. 빨간색이 안 보이는데? 좀 수상해. 아저씨?
Nice. A real treasure chest.
How do you know there's treasure in there?
Why else would it be locked?
Oh.
Plus, there's a treasure map hanging directly above it.
잠겨있는 상자?
What's the deal with that painting on the front?
Not sure. We should check that treasure map too.
용과 섬과 나무, 거기에 X. 이거 같은데? 여긴데? 딱 여기 아닙니까, 여러분? 보자마자 그냥 아주 그냥 보자마자 용 있고 산 있고 나무 있고 I4입니다. I4.
Nothing.
Did you check the
nothing?
treasure map? And what about that painting on the chest?
여기다! 여기에요! 여기야. 그러면은 H6 그리고 여기 서쪽을 바라본 거야. H 여기다!
I did it.
Not bad.
바보.
What was in the box?
More wooden models. These are a little different to the one on the desk.
빨간 물감 있어요. 초록색 머리를 한 아이의 형상, 회색 머리를 한 여자의 형상, 빨갛고 하얀 새의 형상, 큰 어깨를 가진 남자의 형상. 나무 조각상들은 모두 손으로 색을 칠한 것이다. 하지만 전문가의 손길로 보이지는 않는다. 빨간 물감통과 붓이 근처에 보인다. 붓에는 빨간 물감이 말라붙어 있다. 이거를 잠가서 숨겨놨어? 이 말 걸어봐야지. 물어봐야지. 평화로운 부금? 아니야,
I've
수상해.
been carving for a couple of years now. I was hopeless when I started, but it didn't take me long to master it, as you can see.
Do you paint them yourself too?
I do indeed, yes. Freya kindly taught me the basics. Nowadays, I can make just about anything I can imagine. Of course, this particular model is a self-portrait based on hard fact.
Hard fact, huh? So, you own a sword, Felix?
Of course, I own a great many.
아저씨
But my
수상해.
weapons are stored well away from Tangle Tower. Safety first and all that.
끈질기게 물어봐야지.
You found it. What do you think, huh? I had to rush the final touches a little bit.
귀엽다,
It
그쵸?
turned out all right, though.
What's it supposed to be?
It's Flora, of course, surrounded by all her favorite people.
뭔가 물감이
There's something
바뀐 것
about
같아.
Felix's something suspicious.
그쵸,
Let's ask him
수상하죠.
about it.
지금.
So, about this paint we found in your room.
Nothing suspicious about it. I used it to paint, obviously. Totally normal thing to do.
We
아니.
never said it was suspicious.
어?
Out with it. What exactly are you accusing me of?
당신 딱 걸렸어. 당신의 물감통이 아닙니다.
It's not your paint pot. Did you take it from somewhere else?
What on earth? It's definitely mine. I even have proof. Look, the lid matches the ones on all my other paint pots. End of discussion.
That's not the end of the discussion.
We need a clue to compare with Felix's red paint. Something to prove who it actually belongs to.
프레야의 물감. 무언가 빨간 물감통과 직접 비교할 수 있는 거? 요거잖아.
Let's take a closer look at this.
프레야의 빨간 물감은 도난당했다. 몰래 뒤바뀌어 있었던 것은 펠릭스의 빨간 물감통. 하지만 이를 숨기기 위해 뚜껑이 뒤바뀌어 있었다.
Freya's red paint pot was stolen and replaced with Felix's red paint pot, but the lids were swapped to hide it.
That red paint is from Freya's supplies, not yours. Swapping the lids doesn't hide what you did.
Why are you bothering me about paint anyway? And none of this is connected to your murder.
예? 상관이 없다고요. 이 빨간 물감통을 가득 채운 것은 다름 아닌 피였습니다. 그리고 프레야가 플로라를 그리는데 쓰기 전에 피가 가득 채워져 있었습니다.
This red paint pot was somehow filled with
이소!
blood before Freya used it to paint Flora.
Oh, that's definitely something. Right, fine. Here's the story. I was busy working on a project when I suddenly realized I had run out of red paint. There was a certain amount of time pressure, so I politely asked Freya if I could borrow hers. Just for a little while, you know, perfectly reasonable request.
But she said no.
I tried to explain why I needed it, but she didn't seem to care. So, well, I took Freya's red paint pot and swapped it with my own empty one.
You went into her room?
Not my proudest moment, but it's just paint. I didn't touch anything else.
And the paint pot you left behind was definitely empty?
Quite. I have absolutely no idea how it got blood in it, if that's what you're asking.
Why were
뭐지?
you in such a hurry to get a hold of red paint anyway?
I was trying to finish this in time for Flora's birthday. I needed red to paint the final details.
Could you not have just used a different color?
Out of the question. It had to be red and white.
If you managed to finish it, why haven't you given it to Flora yet?
Well, I decided against it in the end. After what happened, seemed a bit insensitive.
그러면은 지금 펠릭스가 물감통을 바꿔치기 한 거는 맞아요. 근데 펠릭스는 빈 물감통을 갖다 놓은 거래. 근데 여기에는 피가 채워져 있었단 말이에요. 누가 채워놓은 거지?
Where did you find that?
It was in the library.
Really? How odd.
이 새에 대해서는 아는 게 없나 봐. 다른 거 물어봐도 뭐 딱히 뭐 알 것 같진 않아요, 아저씨. 이동해 보겠습니다. 셀리 목소리 좋아요? 그쵸, 셀리 목소리 좋아. 밖에 한번 가볼게요. 석조 광장. 당신 누구야?
Well, nice cape.
You're not fellows or pointers. I'm sure I shall immediately regret asking. But who are you, and what is your business here?
I'm Sally, and this is my sidekick, Grimoire.
Private detective, Grimoire.
Really? You're a detective. If this is a joke, it's not a good one.
Who are you, anyway?
Private Detective Hawkshaw.
Oh, nice. Hawkshaw's a cooler name than Grimoire. Maybe I'll become her sidekick.
You're not on the Freya Fellow case, too, are you?
That is classified information between myself and my client. Clearly, this is something which eludes you. But a real detective refrains from handing out informations to persons unknown.
Oh, right.
Now, if you would, I have work to do. It's not in my interest to discuss personal details.
Even if you're one of the suspects in a murder?
Very well. Let us make a small exception. Ask.
Oh, what are you doing here?
I'm on a case at the behest of my client.
How long have you been at Tangle Tower?
133 hours. 5.5 days.
Who are you working for?
I am not at liberty to answer that.
Oh.
Now, I shall permit you one more question.
What crime are you...
How'd you get that scar? It's cool.
You really think so? As it happens, I completed an examination of Flora's room on the morning before the murder. I've been investigating every single room at Tangle Tower. Hers is one of the last on my list.
Did you find anything unusual?
Nothing but a thin layer of dust and an atmosphere of somber melancholy.
Was Flora in there at the time?
She spent the duration of my search staring up at the sky, out the open window. Didn't say a word, although I'm told this is the expected behavior.
What did you do after that?
I spent the early evening searching the library. It took longer than it should have. Fiona leaves that room in a permanent state of disarray.
Fiona was in the library too?
I expected her to make an appearance, but she did not.
And you stayed in the library the rest of the day?
Not quite.
사건 당일 뭐 하고 있었는지
Towards the early
진술을
evening, my
들어봅시다.
examination of the library was unexpectedly disrupted. Sounds of running, wailing, shouting from several floors above. I vacated the library, but before I could begin my ascent, Professor Pointer appeared. He emerged from the Pointer staircase, crossed the hall, and begun up the fellow staircase. Our eyes met. He was breathless. Something had caused him great alarm. He told me to stay out of the way. I consented. I decided to return to my office in the stone square. As I was passing through the front door, Penelope called out from behind me. She was clutching the banister of the Pointer staircase with an apprehensive manner. She wished to know where Professor Pointer had gone. I told her what had transpired. Then, she too crossed the hall and disappeared up the fellow staircase. More so than at any moment prior, I felt like quite an intruder in the house. I took my leave, out towards the stone square. The grounds were silent. There were no signs of human life. Even the greenhouse was without its typical inhabitant. I noted that he, too, must be entangled in whatever was transpiring in Fellow Tower. An unremarkable hour passed before the gardener finally made his appearance. He spoke to me of what had occurred. His report was as clumsy and cumbersome as the man giving it.
Did he seem upset?
He was rattled. That much was clear. But sorrowful, mournful, I cannot say.
얘는 탑에 가지 않았네요. 그쵸? 다른 뭐 플로라.
Quite the stoic statue, isn't she? I can only dream of being as cold and indifferent as Flora Fellow.
You think she's hiding something?
Perhaps. She has some strange habits. I heard she barely sleeps, an hour here or there, sporadically. Spends the rest of her time staring up at the sky.
잠을 안 잔다고?
Did you get anything useful out of him?
Not sure. What about you?
Nothing worth committing to paper.
I think he knows more than he lets on.
Probably. But talking with him is so tedious. Considerably intelligent, and her powers of observation are enviable. But she has no ambition. No focus.
In her defense, she's still a teenager.
Barely. 314 cases solved.
300?
And 14. Freya Fellow is of great interest to me. I perceived her to be the most intelligent individual here at Tangle Tower. Within a day, she had identified for whom I was working and for what I was searching. I didn't know how she did it. I was impressed. I regret that I did not question her more thoroughly when I had the opportunity.
You couldn't have known she was about to be killed, though.
I have only myself to blame for failing to perceive the signs.
What signs?
I do not wish to do your job for you, detective.
뭐 물어볼까요? 이 친구한테는 이거 보여줄까?
When did Freya draw the picture of you, Hawkshaw?
I didn't model for her, if that's what you're asking. She must have done it without my permission.
Could just be from memory. It's not quite as detailed as the others, anyway.
새 도감.
A book from the library, one of hundreds,
맞아,
no
서재에
doubt.
있었다
What makes this
했으니까.
one special?
It's about birds.
Yes, I see that.
잘 모르는 것 같아요. 와, 여기 조사할 만한 게.
It's a big stone dais.
Biggest one I've ever seen. First one, too. There's a metal plaque on the bench.
Is there a message engraved on it?
I think there was at one point, but someone scratched it off.
Is that a clock?
If it is, it's a clock with 4 faces.
I'm
와우.
guessing it doesn't tell the time.
So what does it do?
다이얼을 돌려서 4개의 바늘이 모두 올바른 위치에 가도록 하세요. 오호, 아하, 오호.
A few moments later.
다시,
Reset the puzzle?
다시 처음부터. 오렇게. 오케이. 헉! 맞춘 거 아니야?
I got it.
오호.
I'm impressed. What's in the box?
A little tool thing? But I'm not actually sure what it is.
오, 망원경. 작은 렌즈. 동으로 된 작은 도구. 곡선에 유리 렌즈가 있다. 밑에 나사가 달려있다. 이런 게 왜 여기 너한테 있냐?
Looks like it might be about to fall apart. Grimoire, you go first.
그래모한테 먼저 가. 온실.
That's a handsome beetle. Looks like he might have magic powers.
This one's in a little pot.
Okay, that is definitely not edible.
It looks like a gemstone.
원석?
Don't you think?
화분의 열매. 화분에 열린 열매는 단단하고 표면이 원석 같다. 화분의 토양은 색이 비정상적으로 푸르다. 푸르다. 어이! 누구세요?
Sally, don't move. We're being watched.
Yeah, I see him. He's a little too big to hide in the bushes. Is anyone going to say anything? Or shall we just stand around staring at each other?
Right, sorry. Sorry.
That's better. I'm Sally. And the guy hiding behind me is Detective Grimoire. Who are you?
Fitzfellow.
아,
gardener.
Mm-hmm. And why are you so tall?
I don't know.
이 사람이 피츠고 정원사래요.
You work here as the gardener.
I don't get paid to do it. It's just my area of interest.
What's the deal with the plants? They're all kinda weird.
Right. Did you see the lake?
That giant green and purple lake surrounding the entire house? Yeah, I clocked it.
The color is just a byproduct.
Of what? Poison?
It's not poisonous. Not to you.
What's this got to do with the plants?
The water controls all life, just like anywhere else on the planet. Clouds form, rain falls. The water grows the plants, animals eat the plants. Anything you've perceived as an irregularity is simply a result of this hydrological cycle.
Oh shit.
Could you say that again, but like condense it as if you were talking to a slightly stupid person?
Our lake water causes the unpredictable alteration of DNA. Sometimes.
Alteration? Like mutation?
That'd be the official term. For us, it's normal. Just nature.
And you're the local expert on all this stuff?
No. I'm just the gardener.
겸손하시네. 겸손하셔.
I was in my greenhouse, watering and weeding.
Sounds exciting.
Was anyone else around?
Not at first. Penelope came in a little later. She likes looking at the flowers, I think.
Did you speak to each other?
A little, not too much. We both left the greenhouse in the early afternoon. I went up to my room. Then I came back outside to weed the main gardens. Didn't see anyone else. After that, I went up to the garden outside my room.
And?
Let me guess. Watering and weeding.
Right.
Did anything happen to you yesterday, Fitz?
좀 수상한데? 어제 아무 일도 없었다는 건 말이 안 돼. 왜냐면은 아까 피피랑 같이 사건 현장에 올라갔을 때 그때 얘가 그 자리에 있었거든 이미. 진술을 한번 들어봅시다.
I was up in the rooftop garden. It was quiet. And then it wasn't. I can't describe it. Could have been a scream, but it didn't sound human. We thought it was coming from Flora's tower, so we went up there.
We?
Poppy was with me. Did I not mention that? Flora's room was locked. That's normal. She usually locks it
수상해.
from the inside. I knocked on the door and shouted. Nobody responded. We became concerned.
You kicked the door down?
I did. Poppy and I went in. Freya was right there, laying on her back. Flora was there too, but I barely noticed her at first. Poppy left the room for a while. When she came back, she had her father with her, and Fifi too. Penelope arrived shortly after that, with Felix in tow. I thought that was odd. You don't normally see the two of them together. Felix took charge. There was nothing else I could do to help. I wanted to go back to my room, but I realized nobody had told Detective Hawkshaw anything. I found her pacing back and forth around the stone square. When I approached her, she snapped at me. I think she was annoyed about being made to wait outside so long. But when I told her about Freya,
기다렸다고?
she fell silent.
쇼에 대해서 물어볼게요.
She questioned me,
About what?
my work, the plants, bit of everything.
Did she search the greenhouse?
No, she didn't.
You sure? Maybe she did it when you weren't in there.
No, she hasn't touched it.
How can you tell?
Trust me, I can tell. I like Flora. I hope she's all right.
Do you think she had anything to do with the murder?
There's no way. She wouldn't willingly cause any additional suffering for anyone. Felix is a contradiction. His loyalties are placed firmly within the realm of materialism, money, property. But his ego relies on an entirely fraudulent self-image, don't you think?
동의합니다.
I was just about to say the same thing.
동의합니다.
Have you met this guy, Fitz? Shifty eyes, doesn't say a lot. Totally suspicious, if you ask me.
That's me.
Yeah, it was a joke. I was joking.
Oh, I see. She was always kind to me. She'd come into the greenhouse when I was working, sometimes by herself, sometimes with Poppy. I think they were just bored at first. Eventually, they started asking questions.
About what?
Poppy wanted to learn about flowers. Freya, she used to ask me about the insects.
Insects?
One of my jobs is to protect plants from things that might eat them. Freya brought me this little glass box, leaves and twigs inside. She'd say, put all the troublemakers in there. Every day I'd put a handful of beetles and other things in the box. Then she'd come along and take it away. I didn't really understand her, but she was always kind.
아 맞아 이거 화분 이거
This
뭐예요?
is a good example of how things work. I mix that soil here in the greenhouse. It's made with water from the lake.
And it makes the fruit grow all shiny and gem-stony?
Sometimes. You never really know what's going to happen.
And what do you do with this shiny, inedible fruit?
You look at it.
새에 대해서 아는 거 있습니까?
Penelope knows about birds.
Oh.
You should ask her instead.
Actually, I wanted to ask
Thank
you
you.
about something. There's a plant mentioned on this page, see? Do you have any? In the greenhouse?
No, I don't grow that anymore. I've tried in the past. It's incredibly difficult, even for me. I could never get it to live more than a couple of weeks.
Fitz's room is unlocked. It's up in the fellow tower.
This could be interesting.
지금 갑시다. 아, 여기가 피츠의 방이에요? 헉, 뭐야? 왜 아무것도 없어, 방이?
It's a little handmade card. Inside it says, To Fitz, from PP.
어? 피피?
That poor plant.
Looks pretty healthy to me.
Healthy, but sad. I think it would rather be outside.
An empty glass and an empty plate.
Looking at it is making me want to cry.
Why?
I don't know.
Doesn't look soft.
Hello.
Not hidden very well, is it?
Doesn't need to be. It's locked. It's a combination lock, sort of.
아하. 퍼즐인데요. 이게 요거. 엥? 요거요. 요 모양이죠. 그리고 뭔가 여기 물방울 모양. 야, 순서가 이게 맞아 근데? 요거죠? 그리고 마지막은 이건데? 요거 아닙니까? 이게 이거고 이게 이건가?
I did it. What do I win?
상관없는 건가?
Not bad. Anything in there?
열렸습니다.
Yeah, it's wrapped in a cloth. Hold on. Huh. That's kind of ominous.
장식된 모종삽. 장식 패턴이 있는 원예용 모종삽. 장식용 패턴이 새겨져 있으며 하트 모양의 양 끝에 글자가 있다. PP 하트 FF. 피츠한테 물어봐야겠죠? PPFF를.
It's locked, but it leads outside.
I thought we were halfway up a tower.
We are.
What's that thing by the handle?
Nothing. Still
The
locked.
tiles have all got that same sun symbol on them.
Those moon symbols in the slots.
Maybe they're connected, but all.
뭔진 모르겠지만 지금은 풀 수가 없어요.
Let's come back once we know what to do.
그래, 나중에 다시 해보자. 그리고 여기 한번 가보자. 피아노가 있는 걸 보니까 왠지 그 뮤지션 포피의 방인 것 같아요. 음악실이네. 노랫소리가 너무 좋아요. 근데 이건 뭐지?
Whatever it is, it's playing a little trumpet.
Well, it is the music room. He's got to practice.
What's with all the broken glass?
뿔피리 동상. 큰 뿔피리를 들고 있는 빛나는 괴상한 생물체 동상. 동상의 뿔피리 쪽에 눈에 띄는 금이가 있다. 뿔피리의 안과 밑바닥에는 금이 간 유리 조각이 널려있다. 얘도 금이 갈라졌는데. 수상해. 누가 봐도 수상하게 생겼어
Are you a
지금.
ghost?
Sally, that's rude.
Unless she is a ghost.
It may come as a disappointment, but I am alive.
That makes you a suspect, I'm afraid.
I know.
What's your name?
My name is Poppy. I'm a pointer. And a pianist.
We'll need to ask you a few questions about Freya.
I know.
Hey, you're pretty good.
All in the wrist. And 13 years of dedicated practice. I'm just me. There's nothing to know.
How are you related to the other pointers?
My father is Percival Pointer. The professor spends most of his time hidden away in his tower. Barely speaks to anyone these days. Especially not the fellows.
Do you get on with the fellows?
2 of them. Fifi and Freya are my closest friends. We all turned 19 last year.
Do people ever leave Tangle Tower? I don't mean to be rude. It's just, if you're 19...
You don't have to answer that, Poppy.
It's a fair question. I'd like to move away, definitely. Fifi, Freya, and I would often talk about it, argue about it. Freya wanted to leave, but Fifi... things are more complicated for her.
What about now?
After what happened, I really don't want to stay here much longer. 3.5 hours of piano practice, soon as I wake up. Same as always.
3.5. Does that not hurt your hands?
Sure.
And you do this in the music room?
No, I prefer to practice in my room. When I make mistakes, I like to make them in private.
What did you do after that?
I was supposed to meet Fifi in the library, but I totally forgot. When I finally got down there, she'd already gone. I checked her bedroom, but it was locked.
Was Fifi not in there?
No idea. She keeps her door locked either way. So I went back upstairs and out into the moonlight garden.
The what?
The little garden on the roof outside my room.
Was it just you up there?
No. Fitz came outside after a while. His room's on the other side. He's been teaching me about flowers.
So, did you talk to him?
Not really.
You ignored each other.
I didn't say that. Fitz and I were up in the moonlight garden most of the afternoon. Then we heard this sound. Lasted about 3 seconds. I've been trying to decide how to describe it, but I'm struggling. It was like something drilling into a piece of metal, but different. Worse. I was pretty sure it was coming from Flora's tower, so we went up there to check. Her door was locked. Nobody was answering. I knew Freya and Flora were both supposed to be in there, so I made Fitz kick down the door. I went inside. Freya was lying on the floor.
Flora was in the room too?
Yeah. I think she realized what had happened at the same moment I did. I didn't know what to do, so I ran downstairs to get Fifi. Her door was still locked, but I knocked and shouted at her. Eventually she let me in. The lights were off, but I could see she'd already
에?
been
울고 있었다고?
crying. I told her what had happened. She didn't believe me. She got angry. First time I've ever seen her angry. I dragged her out into the hall. My father was there too, for some reason. The three of us went back up to Flora's tower. Then Felix arrived. He had Penny with him. Fifi had this idea. She wanted to do some kind of scientific test. She took me down to the library. We were in there about 15 minutes. After she was done, she went back upstairs and I went back to my room.
That's it?
근데 피피의 주장이랑 똑같아요. 피피가 진술한 거랑 완전 똑같아.
Needless
뭐
noise
갑자기
from tongues expel, unless within the mouth they dwell. The spoken word, unfit for dealing with the shifting form of feeling, stand unblinking in the face of taciturn and soundless space. Foregone drifter, holding fast, days as shadow seeker past. Is it bravery or surrender, accepting that your world will render nothing darker than the gloom some four walls make around a room?
피피?
Between the lips a silver spoon, a story written all too soon. The chosen dwelling of her heart, unjustly chosen to depart. Lost her liberation lays in the center of a maze.
뭐 되게 의미심장하게 얘기한다. 토크쇼도
With surging
있어요?
tide, the waves are thrown, an entity of all its own. But on its surface you may see, reflected in the waters be, the orchestrator, pale and still, pulling strings, enacting will. Hard of head, but free of mind, unimprisoned, unconfined. With starry eyes, she sees beyond, behind our walls, beneath our pond. A soul untied, it's hers, it's free. Was then, is now, will ever be. Softly does the flower grow, all in time, and time is slow. Rest a seed within the earth, but do not rush its gentle birth. Hour by hour, day by day, tune your heart to nature's way.
감미롭다.
That's me. I'm on a list of murder suspects.
왜 갑자기
Always thought that would be
급발진
kinda
하시죠?
cool, but it's just tedious.
Falls a little short, doesn't it?
Don't look at me. I didn't break it.
Does anybody else use the music?
Yes, I don't know who, but I can tell when somebody else has touched the piano.
이거는요?
Is that a gardening trowel?
Yeah, I think it belongs to Fitz.
Really? Huh. Never seen him use it.
요거.
Does this belong to you, Poppy?
Now that's not really my style, is it?
But who else would own a tape like this?
Literally anybody?
뭐야? 네 거 아니었어?
This is a photo of Fifi and Freya, right?
Yeah,
How come you're not in it? You're friends with them too, aren't you?
I'm not really one for photographs.
Fifi looks like she really admires Freya.
Fifi's loyalty to Freya is unshakable.
뭐야? 이거는 어때요?
Hey, that's me. Not a bad likeness.
It looks like you're standing in a rose bush.
Is there something wrong with that?
알만한 게 또 없겠지?
All right. Poppy's bedroom is unlocked.
I wonder what's in there.
바로 가봅시다. 포피의 방. 여기죠? 피츠 방 맞은편. 와우, 되게 고풍스럽다. 그쵸?
Anything in the wardrobe?
Dresses mostly. I never realized there are so many shades of black.
A single red rose. How very traditional.
Yeah, weird. It's a metronome for keeping time.
뭐야, 뭔데? 왜, 뭔데?
It's ticking. Is it a bomb?
It's supposed to be ticking. Not sure what those symbols are though.
버튼을 써서 메트로놈 다이얼 4개를 모두 돌려 맨 위로 가게 하라고? 아하. too easy.
That's done it.
Neat.
어떻게 풀었냐면은 이 모양에 있는 버튼이 움직이는 겁니다. 얘를 누르면 얘에 해당하는 모양만 움직여요. 그래서 맞췄습니다. 설명 없이 풀어버렸네.
What happened?
Little hatch unlocked in the back.
Anything in there?
Mm-hmm. It's a photograph. Part of a photograph.
찢어진 사진 속에는 금발의 분홍 옷을 입은 소녀가 있다. 사진 속 소녀는 밝은 분홍 카세트 플레이어와 헤드폰을 쓰고 있다. 나머지 사진은 피피와 프레야이다. 프레야의 방에 숨겨져 있어.
There's something about that pink cassette tape.
모른다고 했잖아.
Something suspicious.
Let's
그치?
ask Poppy about it.
나중에 물어보겠습니다.
There's a name for this kind of piano. You know, these ones that stand upright. Sheet music.
It's only a few notes. I'd barely even call that music.
Yeah, it's been framed though. Must be important for some reason.
낱장 악보가 액자 속에 있다. 섬세하고 오래된 그림 장식이 있다. 이게 뭘까?
Various handmade posters.
What do you think those symbols mean?
Hopefully, nothing.
문.
A big glass door leads out into a garden. Somehow.
There's a little mechanism by the handle.
아까 그 피츠의 방에 있던 거랑 똑같은 건데? 잠깐만. 아까 달 모양이 이렇게 있었던 것 같은데? 요렇게인가? 요렇게? 그러면 요렇게. 그러면
Something happened.
That must be it.
뭐야. 열렸습니다.
And the door's still locked.
아니야?
I still feel like we made some sort of progress.
그러면 이럴 때는 피츠의 방에 가서 태양을 맞춰야겠어. 아, 이건가?
It made a noise.
I guess that was right. Finally.
열렸다!
Other side, better.
옥상 정원. 허, 여기 수상한 것들 천지예요. 너 왜 헤드셋 쓰고 있어? 너 뭐야?
It's another little statue, doing a really bad job of hiding in the bushes.
He's playing a lute this time.
He's also wearing headphones.
Well, they're not part of the statue. And they're not headphones. They're earmuffs.
귀마개가 루트를 들고 있는 약간 낡은 괴상한 생물체의 동상. 동상의 머리에 귀마개가 쓰여져 있다. 누구 걸까요?
It's a rose bush, growing on a little patch of bluish soil. Apart from a couple of loose petals on one side, the whole thing looks very well cared for.
The roses are bright red, too.
Now, aren't roses normally that color?
Exactly.
A little pond.
It looks really, really deep, for some reason. See those metal bars around the edges, too?
Oh, yeah. What do you suppose they're for?
Nothing anymore. Looks like somebody broke them and then never bothered to fix it.
혓바닥.
Giant stone frog? Love it.
Ah, he's got his tongue out like he's catching snowflakes.
Except those aren't snowflakes. They're feathers.
깃털. 4개의 깃털. 이 깃털들은 대부분 큰 석조 개구리의 혀 주위에서 찾았다. 깃털을 찾았고 달걀들이 있네요.
More egg statues.
I don't get it. Why eggs?
Well, either they have some artist sculptor was just really lazy.
What do you mean?
An egg has got to be the easiest shape to make.
The door into Poppy's room.
So only Poppy and Fitz can get into the garden?
Ah, I guess so.
수상한 게 없는 것 같은데. 자, 이제 포피한테 가서 물어봐야죠. 헤이, 너 수상한 거 찾았어 내가. 아, 두둥.
I need to confirm something with you, Poppy.
Confirm away.
What can you tell us about this cassette tape? Is it yours?
It belongs to Freya. She liked to have music playing while she was painting, you know.
And do you know what kind of music is on this tape?
No idea. Acid jazz?
It's piano music. Sounds an awful lot like your music, to be honest.
Sure it doesn't belong to you?
Why are we even talking about this? Cassette tapes have been redundant for a good few years now.
The tape was found at the crime scene. It was in the gramophone.
It's not mine. I'd never own anything like that.
Why not?
Not my color.
수상해. 당신은 예전에 이런 색을 좋아했습니다. 이소!
You used to like these colors.
Ridiculous.
We need a clue to compare with the cassette tape. Something that proves Poppy used to like these colors.
증거? 있지. 바로 찢어진 사진.
Let's take a closer look at this.
분홍 카세트 테이프. 분홍 카세트 플레이어. 분홍 카세트 테이프는 사건 현장에서 발견된 것과 일치한다. 그것은 바로 분홍 카세트 플레이어이며 오래된 사진에서 피피가 아니죠. 오래된 사진에서 포피가 사용한 것이다.
The pink cassette tape found at the crime scene matches the pink cassette player used by Poppy in this old photo.
맞죠?
That is not me.
Yeah, it is. I'll prove it.
디디디디디 바로 찢어진 사진. 딱 맞습니다.
You look a little different, but Fifi and Freya are pretty recognizable. It's clearly a photo of you with your two best friends. Why'd you tear it up? And then hide it?
I think the answer is pretty straightforward.
포피는 더 이상 그렇게 보이고 싶지 않아 이건 것 같아요.
Poppy doesn't want to look like that anymore.
That's it.
틀렸어?
Makes this whole thing seem kind of irrelevant.
Maybe. It depends on the reason.
Reason she doesn't want to look like that anymore?
The passage of time is a powerful thing.
아,
Hold
정답이네.
on. This means that paint cassette tape does belong to you, Poppy.
It used to. I recorded some piano music onto it and gave it to Freya as a gift. Years ago.
Freya could have easily been listening to this tape at the exact moment she was killed. There's gotta be a connection between the tape, the gramophone, and the murder.
There's one other thing I want to know. How did it get that crack down the middle?
I have no idea.
일단은 포피가 프레야에게 카세트 테이프의 피아노 곡을 녹음해서 선물로 준 것은 확실히 좋네요. 그쵸? 여기 바로 위에 세 장. 아,
Oh, just beautiful. What is it?
Huh?
Sort of a delicate jade, but with a little seafoam green, is that right?
Sorry?
Your hair, dear! Which shade do you use? It's lovely! And that shape, you're really pushing the envelope.
Oh, thanks. I do what I can to offset Grimoire's beige on brown ensemble.
Detectives don't need to be brightly colored. We prefer to blend into the background.
Oh, you're the detective? Delightful. Penny Pointer, pleasure.
아,
Is that short for
페니.
Penelope?
Officially,
페넬로피.
yes, but I never can be bothered with all 4 syllables of it. Penelope sounds a little ostentatious coming out of the mouth, don't you think?
Sure. Yeah.
20-something, Aquarius, love to travel, and nearly all of my friends are birds.
Travel? Where to?
Anywhere at all, as long as it has species worth studying. Ornithology, they call it. I'd call it the only thing I've ever been good at.
And have you studied the birds here at Tangle Tower?
But of course! Where else do you think I developed my love of the field? No matter where I go, I always find myself coming home to Tangle Tower.
Because of the birds.
Oh, no, because of him! Silly to admit, but I suppose I can't bear for us to be apart.
네? 누구요?
Who are you talking about?
Oh, don't you know? My fiancé, dear Fitz. He's not really the traveling type, you see.
뭐야?
Fellow.
The very one.
You're engaged to a member of the Fellow family? That's interesting.
I'm not especially interested in whatever tedious feuding goes on between our two families. Fitz and I find it much easier to stay out of it altogether.
피츠랑 약혼한 사이야? 뭐야, 그럼 포피는 뭐야?
I awoke early and headed down into the greenhouse to see Fitz. He's always there, crack of dawn, every morning like clockwork.
How come?
It's where he's happiest. That and he has a great deal of work to do every day, watering, pruning, mulching, whatever that is.
Do you help him with the work in the greenhouse?
Oh, no. I wouldn't dream of it. I'd probably break something.
So, you stayed with Fitz the whole day?
No. In the early afternoon, he went back inside. Rather suddenly, as it happens.
Did he say why?
He didn't. Probably just a touch of heat stroke, the poor dear. He's more delicate than you'd think.
What did you do after that?
Let's see. I returned to the aviary to feed my birds.
And how many birds are you responsible for?
Officially 4, but in truth it's more like 400.
Can they not feed themselves?
Of course, and they often do. But I think they just like the company. As do I.
진술 들어볼까요?
Sometime in the evening, I left the aviary and headed back towards my room. But in the hall, I spotted Uncle Pointer heading down the stairs. He was muttering something. Seemed a bit upset, the poor dear. I followed him down, but the grand hall was empty by the time I got there. Empty aside from Detective Hawkshaw, who was loitering over by the library. I don't know what it was, but she looked a little lost. I inquired about the professor, and she told me he'd gone up the Fellow Tower. I ran up the stairs, hoping to catch up with him, but Felix appeared and blocked my path. For some reason, he was coming out of Fitz's bedroom.
어?
He looked rather lost, too.
뭐야?
I
아,
told him I was
맞네,
looking for
맞네.
Uncle. He suggested we look up in Flora's tower room. We could see from the hallway. The door was off its hinges. I knew then something was terribly wrong. A moment later, we were gazing down on the body of poor Freya. Uncle Pointer was there. Fitz, too, standing over in the corner with Fifi and Poppy.
What about Flora?
Of course, silent as ever. Uncle suggested we should leave. Give the others some space, you know. So he and I both returned to our rooms in Pointer Tower.
별로 수상한 건 없었던 것 같은 진술인데 표정 왜 그러세요?
A fellow bird enthusiast. She's quite the expert, truth be told. Studied them professionally at one point. I think her father taught her.
Are you friends with Flora?
A little bit.
A little bit friends.
She's one for the peace and quiet. I dare say I'm a little too loud for her.
I can see that.
I do admire her, though, really. Always felt like she could have done better than settle for Felix.
Ouch.
I said it.
펠릭스는
I
어떻게
must
생각하시죠?
say, I really don't care for the den of self-delusion that he's retreated into. People are better off when they just let themselves be themselves. Between you and me, I think Felix is secretly rather miserable. She mostly ignores me, if I'm honest.
How come?
Well, we're not quite on the same intellectual level.
Oh. I mean, well, you don't need to.
No, it's quite all right. I'm comfortable with it.
확셔.
She's a most unsavory little... She was incredibly rude about my appearance.
Which part? The giant bird arms, or...
If I were her, I'd go easy on the judgment of others. I mean, look at her. She looks like the ghost of a scarecrow. I just wish Uncle Pointer would tell her to behave herself.
Professor Pointer? Why him?
Oh, it was Uncle that called her in. She's his responsibility.
어,
Did you not know that?
그 포인터가 헉셔를 고용했나봐요.
She'd sit in the aviary, first thing in the morning, and paint the birds. Sometimes she'd ask me their names.
Freya was interested in studying bird species too?
No, just wanted to know their names. Isabelle, Clementine, Myrtle, Lysandre, Genevieve.
Got it, thanks.
For my 21st birthday, she gave me a framed painting. All the birds from a single spring, with their names written underneath.
아,
I can't begin to tell you how much I've treasured it.
Sounds like you two were close.
감동적이네.
I feel like I always struggled to articulate my admiration for her. But she had a way of understanding unspoken things. Isn't he strapping?
He is big.
And so brooding.
Kinda sulky, yeah.
I can never tell what's going on in that beautiful head of his.
It just sounds like you don't know him very well.
I don't remember asking for your input.
뭐야?
Oh, she's beautiful! Who is she? Wait, is that me?
살짝 재수없을지도?
Oh, did you talk to Poppy already?
Yeah, a little bit.
And did you make any notes of what she told you?
Yeah, I did.
Lovely. Burn them. It'll all be lies.
Why would Poppy lie to us?
Because that's what she does. She's a snake.
어?
Looks like one too.
Don't you think you're being a little unfair, Penny?
She started it.
펜이랑 포피 사이가 안 좋네요. 이거 알아보시겠네요?
There used to be all kinds of birds here at Tangle Tower. The most fascinating breeds, all totally unique.
Used to be? There are birds all over the place.
Most of them are rather ordinary, I'm afraid.
What happened to the non-ordinary ones?
That is a very good question.
새에 대해서 아시니까 새 도감 이것도 좀 설명해 주시겠어요?
Somebody taken an interest in extinct animals.
Extinct.
Oh, yes. The book is very old. Most of the birds in it are long gone.
Well, what about this bird, though? The ink dip.
This one? Well, it was thought to be extinct for a long time. Then one was found here at Tangle Tower.
So it's not extinct.
You misunderstand. It was the last one. The very last.
Oh.
멸종한 새인데 이 타워에 이 새가 있었대요. 이거 어때요?
Very nice.
You've seen these before?
Yes.
All of them. Even this one of...
Yes.
Yes. 이거는
Oh, did Fitz show you that?
Not exactly.
We found it hidden under his bed.
Ah, right.
어? 안 알려주시지?
Ooh, delightful. More of a gemstone than a fruit, isn't it?
Inedible, too, I think.
Yes. At one point I thought Fitz might be growing them to sell them. But honestly, I think he just likes the way they look.
We can get into Penny's room now.
Now, like, right now?
좀 이따 가봅시다. 조사를
And
아직 안 했어요.
especially fancy.
And it's home to 3 especially fancy birds.
장식이 되어 있는 무거운 쇠장 안에 있는 밝은 색의 새 3마리. 새가 3마리가 있네.
My little writing desk.
There's nothing written in the book, although someone's torn a page.
어? 여기 페이지가 찢겨져 나가 있대요.
Check out that butterfly.
Looks evil.
Wow, judgmental.
그 새에 대해서
I must say the girls are awfully well behaved today. I think they know we're in the presence of company.
They belong to you? Why do you keep them in a cage?
They need a special diet, particular treatment. I let them out to fly occasionally, of course. But they're all one of a kind. I couldn't let anything happen to them.
Do they have names?
Of course. Let me introduce you to Tabitha, Tamara, and Tatiana.
TTT.
I've already forgotten all 3 of those.
Which one is which?
Oh, that's simple. Tatiana is the oldest. Tabitha is the most patient.
What?
And Tamara has the best sense of rhythm.
Glad we cleared that up.
What about the one on your head?
On my head? He's just my hat. He doesn't have a name. Who would name their hat?
머리 위에 있는 건 새가 아니라 모자입니다. 여러분, 모자예요. 이제 페니의 방에 갈 수가 있게 되었습니다. 와우. 이거 뭐죠?
That's some flower.
There's something weird about it. It just feels out of place.
화분의 꽃, 특이한 모양을 한 밝은 색깔의 꽃, 매우 건강하며 잘 돌본 것처럼 보인다. 화분의 토양은 신선하고 촉촉해 보인다. 게다가 색이 비정상적으로 푸르다. 그리고 이거 약간 꽃의 모양이 펜이랑 닮았어요.
It's a birdhouse.
Are those real birds?
뭐야, 이것도 퍼즐이야? 뭐지?
Nope. They're wooden.
They're using up all the perches. What if a real bird wanted to use it?
노란색과 파랑색이 만나면 초록색이 되지요. 초록색과 흰색이 만나면 연한 게 되고요. 초록색과 빨간색이 만나면 갈색이 되냐?
I got it.
I'm impressed. Did the door open?
뭐야? 찢어진 종이가 둥글게 말려있다. 주위에 빨간 꽃잎이 흩뿌려져 있다. 종이에는 분노에 차 휘갈겨 쓴 메시지가 있다. 이제 내가 그녀를 갖겠어. 꽃잎은 옥상 정원에서 자라는 빨간 장미에서 떨어진 것이다. 이게 왜 페니의 방에 있지? 이 꽃잎은 포피랑 피츠만 접근할 수 있는 그건데.
A little bedtime
Let's
reading?
see. Romance novel. And
What?
this one appears to be both.
Nice.
Traveling cases.
Empty. All of them.
A little tea set.
One of the cups has tea in it.
What's in the other one?
Birdseed.
마지막 꼭대기 방에 가볼게요. 천문탑. 아저씨가 뭘 보고 있어요?
Let's at least introduce ourselves before touching.
Always a good roll.
Shh, listen. Do you hear them? The stars. They're whispering. So quiet, and yet so loud.
What are they whispering about? Are they spreading rumors about us?
I shouldn't think they concern themselves with such insignificance. We are but specks of dust, you and I.
Mm-hmm. Could this speck of dust start by telling me his name?
You find yourself standing in the astronomy tower of one Professor Percival Pointer.
Seems like this tower belongs to the Pointers, and the other one belongs to the Fellows.
Well observed, my dear. Tangle Tower is something of a duality, as it happens. Meaningless boundaries, really. They exist only in our minds.
Helpful.
자기소개 부탁드립니다.
Me? Not much to say. Strictly speaking, I'm the current head of the Pointer family. And of course, father to my precious Poppy.
아,
A professional astronomer?
포피
Oh,
아버지시구나.
no, that's just a little hobby. I mean, yes, I've studied the stars for over 35 years, published 17 books.
Just a little hobby.
Sounds like you're quite well known. You must bring in a good amount of money.
Oh, dear me, no. My field of research has never yielded any kind of stable financial return, nor would I expect it to. I am nothing but a humble interpreter for the cosmos, working to translate its message so that I may share it with the world.
Cool. Tell the Cosmos I say hi.
어제 뭐 하셨죠?
The day began as any other, with blissful, unremarkable routine. I took my usual morning walk around the gardens. Fresh air does wonders for the mind.
Did you see anyone else?
Penelope and Fitz were in the greenhouse together. I didn't bother them, of course. I sat for a while besides the pond in the garden. It's a favorite spot of mine. Eventually, I returned to my tower and buried myself in my studies for the afternoon.
Did you use your telescope yesterday?
Once the stars began to appear, naturally.
For how long?
I can't say. I've been known to lose hours at my telescope.
Did you see anything?
No actual discoveries, if that's what you mean.
So you were all alone up in the astronomy tower. Must have been a while before you found out what had happened to Freya.
Quite. Normally, I would be the last to find out about such a thing. But a curious tug of fate led me towards the fellow tower later that evening.
어떡해요? 진술해보세요. 아저씨, 수상해.
I was at my telescope for the majority of the evening, but at one point I returned to my desk to look something up in a reference book. I couldn't find the book I wanted, so I figured Fiona must have borrowed it. I left my tower and headed down towards the Grand Hall. I spotted Detective Hawkshaw coming out of the library. She looked impatient and slightly frustrated.
Same as ever then?
Quite. I passed her by and went upstairs to Fiona's room. The door was locked, but I could hear shouting coming from inside. I recognized Fiona's voice as well as the voice of my own daughter. I had no desire to invade their privacy by eavesdropping, so I waited for them to finish and come out into the hall.
Huh?
Before I could ask about the book, Poppy grabbed my hand and took me upstairs along with Fiona. It was apparent that both of them had already been crying about something. We went up to Flora's tower. Freya was laying on her back, right in the middle of the
올라갔다고?
room.
그랬나?
Flora and Fitz were already there. They both looked stoic as ever. Felix and Penny arrived shortly after we did, and then Fiona went downstairs with Poppy for some reason. I quickly decided that I should leave also. I took Penelope with me, and we both went back to our rooms in Pointer Tower.
Why did you leave so quickly? Wasn't there anything you could have done to help?
Don't take this the wrong way, but the whole ordeal is fellow family business. I'm quite sure they don't need me getting in the way at a time like that.
수상해, 당신. 수상해.
A listless soul drifting through the ether.
What's wrong with her?
Not sure. She's always been troubled. Comes from a dysfunctional family. I'd say you could ask her about it, but I think you might find that to be a bit of a dead end.
Felix.
He should learn to make the most of his lot in life. And he does have a lot in life.
You're talking about money?
Among other things, but yes, he currently has agency over a small fortune. That is, if he hasn't already squandered it or lost it.
You two don't get on?
Oh no, we're the best of friends. Ah, yes, the heiress of Tangle Tower. Goodness knows what'll happen when she takes charge. I dare say she'll confiscate my telescope and replace it with a microscope.
She doesn't seem to be the type to impress her will on others.
Still, keep an eye on her. Dangerously intelligent, that one.
You sound jealous. Wait, are you two science rivals?
Oh no, we operate on very different wavelengths. Literally. Hard to read, that one, but she seems to know what she's doing.
She's kind of mean.
You know, I simply assumed all detectives were sharp, rigorous, and thorough. Then, of course, I met you.
이 아저씨가
Nobody could deny her talent. She was remarkable, artistically gifted, but also highly intelligent.
Those two things aren't mutually exclusive, you know.
Was she ever interested in astronomy?
I don't think she was. The fault may well lie with me for failing to inspire her. But I think she was captivated by more tangible things here on Earth. My daughter loved her. Fiona, too. That said, in the last year or so, more and more I've begun to notice her by herself, wandering the gardens at the most peculiar hours. She must have explored every inch of the grounds 100 times over. Quite a restless spirit, I think. I'm surprised she chose to live at Tangle Tower as long as she did. What do you want me to say? He's the gardener.
He's a member of the family.
Yeah, but not the Pointer family.
What happened to his parents, do you know?
His father, Flint, is Felix's brother. Strange man. Don't think anybody knows what happened to him, but he certainly doesn't live here anymore.
What about his mother?
Emily? I've not met her. She never actually married into the fellow family. Her relationship with Flint was, it was short-lived. I don't especially want to talk about myself. Introspection often leads to vanity.
Wait, does it?
Why don't we discuss the moons of Jupiter instead?
I'm not sure if we have time. Aren't there like 10 of them?
83.
Yeah, we don't have time.
Ah, Penelope, our resident ornithologist.
Penny's your niece, is that right?
At this moment in time. Until she marries the gardener.
She'll still be your niece.
But she'll depart from the world of the Pointers and join the Fellows. Like rats deserting a sinking ship.
펠로우 가문을 왜 이렇게 싫어하는 것 같지? 포인터.
My Poppy, my pride and joy. Exceptionally talented pianist from a young age. She... Hold on. Why is she on your list of suspects?
Because she's a suspect.
Oh, no. I can personally vouch for her innocence. She'd never... Well, the truth is, she loved Freya very dearly.
If you don't mind me asking, what happened to Poppy's mother?
Primrose? She was Flora's sister, a Remington by birth. The playing field has never really been even since she left.
Where did she go?
Away.
아.
She went away.
돌아가셨나 봐요. 렌즈?
What's this?
It looks like it might be a telescope. Thought you might know something about it.
Well, it certainly is a telescope. It has a part there to screw onto a tripod, you see. It's rather small, though. I'm not sure you could see many stars with it.
No, probably not.
그건 물어볼까요? 뿔피리 동상?
Curious creature, isn't it? Some sort of amphibious bipedal fishman.
Playing a trumpet.
Playing a trumpet, yes.
모르시네.
Every astronomy tower needs a telescope.
I want to try.
이 아저씨! 잠깐만.
You can see right into Flora's room.
Not by accident.
I can see Flora, but she's not looking this way. She's looking up. Behind her is the back side of the easel holding Freya's unfinished painting. I can't really see anything behind it. Not from this angle.
어? 잠깐만. 여기 이거 뭐야?
Is that a window?
I think it is.
Is there another room above Flora's room?
We should check that next time we're over there.
여기 한번 확인해 봐야겠네. 그리고 잠깐만, 이 아저씨 별을 본 게 아니라 지금 여기 보고 있었네.
Isn't this supposed to be an astronomy telescope?
그니까.
I'm pretty sure you need to see the sky for astronomy to work.
내 말이.
I can't move it. I think this is just how it's set up.
에? 고정이 됐다고? 수상해.
You know, I've always wanted one of those.
A mechanical solar system?
I would look at it.
Oh,
Wait a
퍼즐.
Earth in the middle, sun on the outside. How old is this thing?
어떻게 하는 거지? 어떻게 하는 걸까? 아, 오! 방향을, 알아불었다. 이렇게 해서, 이렇게 하고, 봐봐요. 이렇게 하는 거예요. 그래서, 여기 보면은, 여기는 이거고, 얘는 여기고, 얘는 여기고, 봐봐요. 알아불었다. 이렇게.
No, that was it.
Nice work.
아, 너무 쉬운데?
Did you
퍼즐이?
hear that? Something unlocked.
There's a little hatch underneath. What's in there?
A bunch of paper. Looks like somebody's research.
이게 뭐야? 황금 딱정벌레. 다양한 연구 노트 및 도표. 황금 딱정벌레의 환경과 약 90% 동일한 광물로 구성된 뇌골격을 가졌다는 데에서 유래. 수명이 수년에 이른다. 쉬익거리는 큰 소음을 내어 95데시벨 이상의 기록. 포식자를 쫓아내고 잡아먹힌 경우 완전히 소화하지 못하게 한다. 이 미스티드에 얽힌 미신이 있는데 발견한 사람에게 불행을 초라는 다소 비논리적인 평판을 가지고 있다. 딱정벌레인데 황금 딱정벌레. 아저씨, 이거 알고 있어요?
So, we found some research. What's up with this golden beetle? Is this something you're studying?
I can't help you, I'm afraid. I think it must be something left behind by a previous inhabitant of Tangle Tower. I'm not the first scientist to ever walk these halls, you know.
Well, it wasn't in the halls. It was in your astronomy tower.
There's something about Pointer's astronomy habits. Something suspicious.
Let's ask him about it.
수상해요, 당신.
So, Professor, what interests you about astronomy exactly?
It's not a matter of being interested. Once you expand your mind to the wider universe, it cannot be unexpanded.
Mm-hmm. And how long have you been an astronomer?
I really don't like to give exact values unless I'm sure I can quantify them.
Convenient.
Why do you ask me these things?
I have a theory about you, Professor.
Oh? Go on.
천문학에 전혀 관심이 없습니다.
You're not really interested in astronomy at all.
What could you possibly mean by that?
I think you're interested in a slightly different field of research.
당신은 황금 딱정벌레에 관심이 있어요.
I don't have time for tiny, insignificant insects. My studies focus only on the inconceivably large and the unimaginably far away.
Right. That's why you like using your telescope so much.
Yes, naturally. My little portal into another world.
Yeah, about that.
아, 포인터의 망원경이 실제로 보고 있던 것.
Pointer's telescope was
이거다.
actually looking at the crime scene and not up at the sky.
First, you accuse me of being a lowly entomologist. Now you're accusing me of, what, spying?
Are you spying?
Why would I need to spy on Flora?
Why? Because you lost your golden beetle specimen, and it's made you paranoid. You think somebody stole it from you.
Might not have been Flora you were spying on. Might have been Freya.
It's a very precious specimen. Incredibly rare. Valuable in ways you could never understand. Freya was always sneaking around. Both towers and in the gardens, too. She was definitely up to something.
So, this next question is important. You were looking to Flora's room around the time of the murder. Did you witness the crime, Professor?
No, I didn't. When I looked into the room, Flora was already lying on the floor.
Huh?
Flora?
Huh?
You mean Freya?
No, Flora. She was lying by the window. I couldn't see Freya at all. It was fairly dark. The telescope isn't at a very good angle. That's why I decided to head over there myself. I needed to know what was going on.
This changes your statement, doesn't it?
No, everything I told you in my statement was true.
플로라가
Apart from the reason you left your tower in the first place.
Right.
뭐야? 플로라가 쓰러져 있었대요? 여기를 가봐야겠죠? 다락방. 뭐야?
It's a statue of a wolf. Standing up straight, like a man.
You know there's a name for that.
I know.
It's not quite as dusty as everything else up here. Also, it's not a statue. It's stuffed.
Just dusty junk.
이거 뭐야?
What is that?
Not sure. Some kind of reel?
Looks like it might attach to something.
약간 낚시 그거 도르래 같은 동으로 된 감개로 위에 나사가 있다. 감개 주위에 얇은 빨간 밧줄이 감겨져 있다.
Where's that light coming from?
Well, it's just daylight, I think. There's a decent gap between those floorboards. Is that what I think it is?
The attic's directly above us.
Yeah.
뭐지? 어떻게 해야 되지? 일단은 오늘은 탱글 타워를 여기까지 하고 다음 시간에 마저 해야겠습니다.